Indianapolis Colts offensive coordinator Jim Bob Cooter is a really interesting guy to listen to talk about football, especially this week because of the potential return of Jonathan Taylor. He'll be moving into a new offense with a new quarterback. Yeah, he's been in Indy for a long time, and he's a veteran running back, but there's a lot new about this offense. Can Jonathan Taylor get coached up in time to play on Sunday, given that he won't start practice until Wednesday? Jim Bob Cooter answered that question and talked a lot about Anthony Richardson and what makes him special.
That running back being the only running back on the field sometimes can sort of make that process go a little bit smoother. Traditionally over the years, kind of going through a couple different variations of things like that on game weeks. So, yeah, probably a little bit true.
Will it help the fact that he's done it? I realize it's a different offense, but he's done it. It's got to help to some level.
Yeah, I think a veteran guy that's learned some ball and been around a bunch of football, will have a better chance to come in and sort of hit the ground running. But we'll see how it all goes. But yeah, JT's been good around the building here. We're excited to get him back.
Thanks, Coach.
James.
Bob, what has been your interaction level with JT just throughout this whole process of activating the 21-day window? And then also, I guess I've heard you say he's excited. You're excited, obviously. Shane Steichen said he was excited. What gives you that impression from JT that he's excited to be back?
I kind of like to keep the conversations around the building here with JT sort of between us, just kind of respect his privacy and all that. But we're excited to get him back because he's a heck of a player, man. He's when he's full speed and feeling good and running, there's not many that can play with him, that can run with him. He's a really good running back. And so, from an offensive perspective for us, sort of drawing up these plays, trying to find a way to win a game every week, to have the prospect of JT back soon, whenever that is, will be exciting.
Joel.
When you guys looked at Blake Freeland, making his first start there, how'd he turn out?
Yeah, you know what? Blake filled in pretty admirably, man. He was sort of thrown into the role on Friday, and that's not easy. That's not easy on a young player. Blake did a really nice job with sort of the game week preparation parts of the thing, making sure he's prepared for the defensive looks and prepared for what was gonna get thrown at him. And as much as you can prepare when they put that number 99 from the Rams across from you, it's tough. So he had a couple tough matchups. He's a young player. He's a rookie in this league, kind of getting his first real action. Had a tough matchup versus Aaron Donald. Everybody does really. But he was out there battling. He was fighting. He was scratching. He was clawing. Like I said, he was in the right place basically the whole game, doing the right thing, blocking the right guy, working in combination with his left guard and his tight end that was outside of him in the right way. And we were pleased with the way he went about his work last week. Kind of, like I said, that sort of showing up on him later in the week without being able to maybe plan on it on Wednesday.
Kevin.
Jim Bob, when you look back at Anthony from Sunday, it seemed like his playmaking outside the pocket, frankly, was pretty darn special in the second half. How would you kind of evaluate what he did outside the pocket versus inside the pocket?
Yeah. Anthony made some really nice plays, and from both areas. Kind of the way that game shook out, he made some really nice ones outside the pocket. He was sort of moving sometimes to create sort of a play, sometimes to make something happen, and sometimes moving just because that's what the pocket needed him to do. He made some good ones outside the pocket. I'm remembering a few good ones from inside the pocket too. So, I thought Anthony had a really good game as far as like, hey, we didn't start great. In the NFL, sometimes you have games where you start great and you have your ups and downs in this league. You do. The other teams are really good as well. This game, we just were just a hair off. We just were a little bit off early. It wasn't a situation where we felt like, gosh, we were just totally out of whack. It was just these little bitty things, these small detail things that we just couldn't couldn't get over the hump on. And then a lot of teams, when that's the case, you have that tough half, you have maybe that tough start to the second half. I've seen games go a really bad direction, and Anthony's mindset wasn't going to let that happen. He was there to play ball that day. He was really into it and sort of found a way to create a few plays that did require him moving from time to time. We needed that to happen. Those guys did a great job moving with him. The tight ends, the receivers, kind of have put the work in over camp. You guys will remember some of those sort of almost highlight plays with the quarterback moving in camp and the ball going up downfield. Those guys are putting that work in, and it's starting to pay off. So I think Anthony, really nice job sort of finishing that game and making plays. We got to just continue to improve and try to have a little bit better first half moving forward.
JJ?
Jim Bob, on some of those plays in the pocket, Anthony's ability to kind of navigate and feel pressure and avoid it looked like it showed back up. For that to happen in a game where 99's coming at him on, so many snaps, just what does that tell you about the pocket poise and feel that he has in those situations?
Yeah, I think there's a real natural feel that Anthony has. It does, continue to improve as he gets reps and he gets a feel, because I'm an SEC guy, so I'm biased. The SEC's, that's pretty good football down there. But even so, the NFL, when you're protecting the passer and those guys are rushing the passer, it is a challenge in this league, and not every pocket's going to be clean. So some quarterbacks coming from college, you may be able to turn on some college tape of some really clean pockets over and over and over. It's not something a lot of guys navigate in college as much as they do in the NFL. So Anthony's kind of come in and done a nice job with that stuff. And hey, when Aaron Donald's running around on the other side, you're gonna have to move a little bit in the pocket. You're gonna have to maybe create outside the pocket, or even just slide and make a throw, or even just have that awareness that first read is open enough. I need to get the ball out of my hands so that the play has a chance to work out. If I hold on to this thing, I need to be smart about that. So doing a nice job with that stuff. We'll continue to sort of try to get better at everything that we can. But Anthony's shown a real nice sort of natural feel for that as the start of the season's getting going.
Raven?
You talk so much about Aaron Donald and just the impact he has for the Rams defense. This upcoming weekend, if you're going up against another tough front seven in the Tennessee Titans, with your offensive line, I know there's no word on the status of Ryan Kelly and Bernie, but what do you want to see from this group this Sunday?
Yeah, the Titans present a really big challenge up front, especially. They're a really good defense overall. They built it around a bunch of really good players up front. That can impact the game in different ways, whether it's inside, whether it's on the edge, and it's not all pass rush stuff. Some of those clips of the run game, these guys are playing it really tough, setting the edge, playing physical inside, getting the O-line knocked back. So we got a challenge. We got a challenge in front of us here. This is a really good defense who is going to make it hard on us to run the ball, going to make it hard on us to sit in the pocket and protect. They built a really nice group here, and those guys are playing hard and playing good ball. So it's a challenge. It's across the line. There's a lot of good players on this Tennessee Titans defense. There's some excellent players in there, but it's not just going to be one guy that we have to sort of keep an eye on. It's 4 or 5 or 6 of them, man. There's a bunch of guys that can really play ball, rushing the passer, stopping the run, all that stuff.
Couple more. James?
Jim Bob, there's a number of plays that stood out to me from AR, but two of them in particular was the 38-yarder to Alec Pierce, where Aaron Donald's about to tackle him, and he kind of jumps and just flings it for 40 yards and first down. And then the second 2-point conversion where he's steps up, stumbles, guy try to come back and hit him. He flicks it over to Zach Moss. When he does plays like that, I mean, how much does that change an offense when he can do stuff that you can't teach? I don't know if you would teach it that way, but then he just kind of makes something out of nothing.
Yeah, I don't think we would I don't know, the first throw you're talking about, we definitely can't drill that. I don't know how you drill that thing. That was a really impressive play. Really both of them. For us as coaches, we're working hard to give our guys the best chance to win. We draw all these cool plays on the board and we get them taught and we get them repped. And gosh, we think they're going to play the coverage exactly like this. And this play's going to work because of A, B, and C. And all of a sudden we don't have A or B. It's not working, right? It doesn't work. Anthony gives us that sort of next option, that D, that E, whatever, however far all the letters go. It is big for an offense because in this league, as hard as we're competing to get receivers open, let's just talk about the pass game for a second. As hard as we're competing to get receivers open as a coaching staff and the guys running routes, that defense is competing against us to stop it and to make it hard. And the Rams did a great job of that on a couple of those plays you're talking about the other day. But like I said, unbelievable throw on the one down to Alec. Hadn't seen a whole lot like that. I've seen some impressive ones in my time, and that one's pretty up there. And then like the 2-point play, gosh, I'm looking at all the routes and kind of the first read ain't there. We're kind of maybe waiting, maybe something's coming across, then the pocket gets muddy. Anthony gets turned around and, really good sort of just awareness of, hey, I've got a running back. He's over there somewhere. Where's Zach Moss? He found him, and Zach stayed alive for him. So it does build you something as an offense that you can sort of maybe have in your back pocket in case that play doesn't get drawn up well. And then the players out there just it's a reminder for all of them to just keep staying alive on routes, keep competing on routes. There's a lot of running back routes where when you're really late in the progression, you don't always get the ball. You're not always a big thought process for the quarterback. But to Zach's credit, he stayed alive there, and Anthony was able to get it to him. Couple really impressive plays there.
Last one, Chap.
Jim Bob, 4 games is more than a snapshot. But when you come in on a Monday, maybe this Monday, do you say, boy, we've just got to get Alec Pierce more, I don't know, attempts, whatever. I mean, he's just been sort of flashes. Pitt, you'd kept really busy the first 3 games. In this game, not so much. But do you say, boy, we just need to get Alec more involved?
Yeah, I think we want all our guys involved, as a starting receiver, right? These days, kind of everybody plays 11 personnel quite a bit, ourselves included. So you kind of have 3 starting receivers. Those guys obviously do a ton of blocking for us in the run game, but primarily those guys are out there to run routes and catch passes. And we want all those guys to have their targets, be a part of the game. We're trying to build game plans with that in mind, while also playing to their strengths and game planning against what we think a defense's strengths or weaknesses are going to be that we're playing that week. So yeah, we'd like to get everybody, sort of involved in the game. I think that's kind of a good core tenet of offensive football, is having everybody be a good threat out there in the pass game so that gosh, we can beat you with a bunch of different guys. So the numbers don't always add up to that, but the numbers kind of come and go in funny ways in this league. Alex competing. He is competing so hard out there. He's given everything he's got. He's fighting, scratching, clawing, competing with DBs down the field. Anthony made an unbelievable throw on that play. We've talked a lot about that. That was a pretty nice catch too, right? That was a pretty nice catch by Alec, and he took a shot. It ended up being a really big play for us in the game. So he's playing good football. He's fighting and competing. We'll keep working to sort of get everybody involved to the level that we want. But ultimately, we're out there trying like heck to win games, trying to get everybody involved as we do that. But Alec's been a great sort of presence around the building. He's all in. He'll do whatever it takes to help our offense, sort of help our team win a game, and that's been great to see.
And make no bones about it, Anthony Richardson is special. Anthony Richardson can do things that other quarterbacks simply cannot do. A lot of that has to do with Shane Steichen, Jim Bob Cooter, Cam Turner, Gardner Minshew, that network of people around Anthony Richardson who are supporting him and trying to get him coached up in time to make this team competent in year 1. It doesn't happen a lot for rookie quarterbacks. It might for Anthony Richardson.